Hey all, Brent here with a review of an anime that none of you will ever see or have ever heard of. It's called The Boy Who Could See the Wind. See, I told you. Basically, I stumbled across this thing on a site called hkflix.com, and it happened to have English subtitles. It was made by nobody. I mean, and which is always kind of unfair. I mean, obviously the folks involved made a couple of things beforehand, a couple of things after, and I'm sure if you dig through it, you'd find, oh, he did this. But overall, I mean, not a particularly remarkable group doing this thing. It's a movie, it came out in 2000, aimed at kids, and I don't want you to take that to mean that it's somehow cheap or cheesy or anything. It's actually kind of like a Studio Ghibli film, how those are kind of aimed at kids most of the time. In fact, the plot is a lot like a Studio Ghibli film. Boy and a girl, innocent. One of them has kind of a superpower. Actually, a lot like Castle in the Sky, Laputa, if you've ever seen that. Kind of a fantasy world with guns. And it has that sort of Ghibli quality where it can be lighthearted and upbeat, but it can also be kind of pretty serious at times. I mean, people get shot. People die, in fact. So there's that kind of Studio Ghibli-ish quality to it, frankly. Obviously, not quite up to that standard of quality that they can do for all that kind of stuff. But I mean, the character animation, very emotion rich. Think of something like Cowboy Bebop, for example, where the characters have very evocative expressions on their faces, and there's a lot of time is spent on that, which honestly doesn't happen a lot in anime. Voice acting, quite effective. No screechy voices. Anime tends towards that kind of frequently. Again, there's no English dub, so I'm only going off the Japanese dub, but it worked quite well. And it's just quality throughout. I mean, a lot of animation, lots of movement, lots of action, everything works. The plot, it's one thing I really appreciate. The plot just keeps on moving. There's very few sequences, I would say no sequences, where things just sort of slow down and drag for a while. It just chugs from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene to the end, and the ending, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect them to go that far. Wow. In terms of content, if any of you are interested in or worried about that, there's really nothing. I mean, people get shot and you see red, but that's about as bad as it gets. There's no sexual content. There's almost no cussing. There's a bit of glowy anime nudity, but it's not meant to. It's not sexual or anything like that, and it's not nasty like that or whatever. Overall, I mean, if you like Studio Ghibli films, and very few people don't, this is a film I think you'd enjoy. It's right down your alley. It's that kind of a film. Again, not quite to that level of quality that the Ghibli manages, but certainly similar in many, many ways. Unfortunately, you can't find it anywhere. If you want to track it down on hkflix.com, I don't even know if my version is playable in most DVD players. But see if you can track down a copy, download it off the internet, whatever. I'm impressed. It was good stuff.